Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Cop update from the LFC Daytrippers. It's 2 p.m. on Wednesday, the 5th of January. We usually bring you loads of different news stories regarding Liverpool Football Club at 2 o'clock, but there's only one place to start. There'll only be one place in the middle, and we'll probably finish on this as well. Arsenal versus Liverpool in the Carabao Cup fourth leg of the semi-final at the Emirates tomorrow night has been cancelled. Not cancelled. What do you call it? Postponed. And you know, there's a timeline to all this, and we'll try to go through the timeline. We'll go through the reaction. We'll go through the outcome as to what way it will go afterwards, and give us your give us your reaction to what's gone on over the last couple of days, the announcement that's just come from the EFL and Liverpool with regards to the game being postponed, and we go from there. So basically what happens is Liverpool play on Sunday against Chelsea in the league. We know we have a couple of players out for that, those being Matip was out for it. I know Origi was out for it. There's a couple of players, you know who they were. They were out for that game, okay? Liverpool are due to play Arsenal tomorrow at the Emirates, as we said, in the Carabao Cup semi-final fourth leg. Word came through, I think it was yesterday, that there was an ever-growing amount of COVID cases within the Liverpool camp. Of course, Klopp was out as well from the game on Sunday because of it. And Liverpool, the rumour was, were going to look for a postponement of this game. Liverpool confirmed yesterday that they were going to had applied for a postponement of this game because of ever-growing numbers of COVID cases within the club and the training facility. Word come out then that the training facility was closed. Rumour going around that all the keepers had it, all the goalkeeping staff had it. And after the application was made, it comes out this morning that Pep Lijnders has returned a suspected COVID positive. So, as of last night, we weren't too sure what was going to happen. We thought with the numbers that was being bandied about that the game would be called off. Now, on record, I have said I wanted this game to go ahead because I felt if Liverpool had 14 players, whether they be all under 23s, we should go out and play the game. Okay, that's the way I feel about it. I felt about that for a long time over any club when it comes down to COVID, because I found it difficult to understand how they wouldn't have 14 players. All right. Now, what's going on with Liverpool is that it looks like they don't have any goalkeepers, any registered goalkeepers available now because of this COVID, okay? Loads of rumour flew around this morning with regards to what would happen. It looked like it would be called off, and it has been confirmed. And I'll read out some quotes in a minute from different tweets and stuff from different people reporting on it. What it looks like happened here is that Liverpool went into training yesterday and the players were sent home because of the amount of positives. The training ground was closed off and everyone had to leave because of the amount of positives, and Liverpool awaited more results. In that time they make their application. Pep Lijnders comes back positive as well, so you wouldn't have a manager or an assistant manager, and the numbers that are being rumoured are out there, okay? It's going on all morning, so from last night probably, where it's like, will it happen, will it not happen? And nobody kind of knew, but the numbers that were coming around, it looked like it was going to be called off. Like Kieran B, he agrees with me. He says, look, if he felt the same. If we had 14 players, it should go ahead. So it was going around, and there was different reports. I'm just going to pull them up here on my screen as I see them, and it's at the end of the day, like the announcement from Liverpool is that our Carabao Cup semi-final fourth leg fixture with Arsenal on Thursday has been postponed. We would like to place on record our thanks to the EFL and Arsenal for their understanding, as well as supporters of both clubs. I wouldn't go that far, as we continue to navigate through this challenging period. There was other stuff. Neil Jones said Arsenal v Liverpool postponed. The EFL have granted Liverpool's request, but Liverpool have now forfeited home advantage for the second leg. First game at his Anfield on June the January the 13th. Return leg is at the Emirates on January the 20th. Paul Gorst says the EFL says the postponement related to a severe outbreak among players and coaching staff. The EFL have been in regular dialogue with the club over the last 48 hours to see if it could go ahead. League accepts LFC's request, postponement reluctantly the only option. Okay, so going back to having a number of players available. Okay, I've been fairly adamant on this. I've said it just a minute ago. I'm fairly adamant on this that we should have enough players to go ahead. All right. Kev O'Sullivan says if the numbers are right, we don't have 14. We've more like 8 players available. Okay. The problem is that when you close down that training facility, you close down first team, 23's academy. You close the lot. That's the way Liverpool are situated at the moment. But all of this is irrelevant, right? As how many players you have ready if you don't have a registered goalkeeper. Like Liverpool could have 25 players under 23s and 18 sitting ready to go, but none of them are goalkeepers. And all our first team goalkeepers are registered goalkeepers are not available because they've tested positive. So the numbers are quite high. Now, the reaction of some, Liverpool fans find this reaction tremendous. JL the Boys says it's tremendous, Gaff. I'm flabbergasted at the reaction of some fans from other clubs, because if you make the argument that, look, you should have 14 players there, can it not be played? I fully agree with you. If you're then told that all registered goalkeepers are not available because of the COVID outbreak at the AXA Training Centre or Liverpool Football Club as a whole, your argument stops. Your argument just stops there. It's dead in the water, because Ownbook says it has to be 2 goalkeepers available. I did read somewhere that if you had 13 including 1 goalkeeper, it could go ahead, but it might be 2. I might stand corrected on that own. But when you read this, okay, your argument stops dead in the water. There's no goalkeepers. It doesn't matter if you've 40 players. If you've no goalkeeper, it cannot go ahead. All right. So what we've seen Liverpool in the past accused of, shitting on the League Cup and disrespecting the FA Cup, and because they're playing youngsters, they don't care about the competition. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and that's, if you want to say that, that's absolutely fine. That's your opinion. But when it comes around to this now, basically you have opposition fans wanting us to do exactly what they've been given out about for the last, since Klopp has arrived at the club. Just disrespect the trophy and play a load of young fellas. Now, this argument's only going on because they don't actually take into account that there's no goalkeepers, but we'll go with it anyway. So they want us to play the youngsters, despite the fact that they didn't like us playing youngsters in the past. Then there's the rules. Now, I've seen things like Leyton Orient were thrown out of the League Cup because they couldn't fulfil a game against Spurs. The rules are changed within it. They're changed, especially for, I think it's 5th rounds, quarterfinals, semi-finals. They're changed, right? They will do something like that in a 3rd round game or a 2nd round game, okay? But they're not going to do it in a semi-final. They're the rules. We've seen what happened with Man City last year. They couldn't fulfil. They weren't going to be thrown out of the League Cup, all right? I've also seen people say, oh, well, if the game goes ahead next week, anyone that wasn't available today but is available next week can't play. Well, you still won't be able to put out a team. Anyone that signs between now and then, well, they're a registered player, they can play. Anyone that's away on international duty and comes back, they won't be back by the time this game gets played next week. We've seen an awful lot of stuff with regards to it. And it's tribalism. It really is, and I don't mind tribalism. I don't mind the fact that people will give out and want the best for their club. I absolutely get that. And when you see the precedent that's being set a month ago, in my opinion, by 2 football clubs, it's a free-for-all now. It's a mess. It's just a mess. There's no other way of explaining it, okay? Because what's gone on at Liverpool, okay, they have reported, after independent testing, they have reported that this is what we have. And that is then put to the EFL or the FA or the Premier League or wherever jurisdiction it needs to go to. And then they make the decision, okay? What you've seen a month ago was clubs telling them that they're closing down training grounds, and they were just reacting and calling off games. Then they said they weren't. Then they were calling them off after 2 hours. Then they said there'd be no more. Then there was, and it's just gone on and on and on. Now, at the end of the day, if players aren't available, we can't play. We simply can't play. Alex says, I forgot this bit, so thanks for this, Alex. He says, was the energy from rival fans about the unfair things when we had to play Villa and be in Qatar the next day? Well, you see, this is it. There's been stuff dragged up with regards to Villa having to fulfil a fixture against us in the FA Cup at Villa Park, and they literally played their 18s. I think Liverpool won the game 4-1 or something like that. And it was ridiculous. Let's be honest about it. It was ridiculous what went on there. Okay? But again, that's one of those things where a reaction from an organisation that are meant to look after things wasn't correct. In my opinion, it was ridiculous. Liverpool, in this same cup, were asked to play a quarter-final game 24 hours before they played a World Club Cup game in Qatar 24 hours later. Okay, but Liverpool are the ones disrespecting this trophy. Remember that. If Liverpool are ever accused of disrespecting this trophy ever again, okay, just bring up December 2019. Okay, just bring up to December 2019 when Liverpool had to send, I think it was Neil Critchley and a load of lads off to Villa in a cup quarter final. Okay, nothing to do with COVID. Nothing to do with anything else. It was basically, there's the date you're playing. We don't care about FIFA or what you've won in the past or what your obligations are. They expected us to show up at Villa Park and then go to Qatar and play 24 hours against, I think it was Monterrey they had to play. So it's absolute madness that this accusation about disrespecting a cup is there. And at the same time, you want us to disrespect the cup. You disrespect them. You play young fellas. You do this. You play kids. Klopp doesn't disrespects these league cups. He blah blah blah. He disrespects the FA Cup. Well, lads, we've loads of COVID players. We can't play our team. Play the kids. Disrespect it. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Owen Burke has come back. He thinks I might be right for once. Here we go. You could be right, Gav. I've seen that 13 players and one keeper for UEFA competitions. Also saw 14 players, including 2 goalkeepers. There could be a difference between UEFA and the Premier League. I thought I read somewhere. I thought it was 13, including 1 goalkeeper. But it's look. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's 9 outfield players and a goalkeeper. Once it says goalkeeper and you've no goalkeepers, you can't play. You can't play. Red Steve says, instead of being angry at us for not forfeiting, they should be angry at Orient having to forfeit. Idiots always get angry at the wrong thing. Look, at the end of the day, I wanted this game to go ahead. I think most Liverpool fans did. We have shows and all lined up around this game tonight, tomorrow, and we've games or stuff on Friday. We've stuff over the weekend, FA Cup. But then we go, it's going to be one. It's going to be one of those. I don't know if the FA Cup game goes ahead. And we've seen stuff like, oh, well, they haven't asked about the FA Cup, have they? And we're like, no. But the chances are today is Wednesday, and when Friday comes, the numbers will be looked at again. And if the goalkeepers are out, they won't play. Simple as that. You know what I mean? It's John says the entire goalkeeping setup was done with COVID. So there you go. You know what I mean? Paul Smith said, I don't give a shit about the opinions of fans of other clubs. Their opinions are fueled by against Liverpool sentiment. Simple as that. Yeah, but you're probably right. But what I'm trying to say is, even if you have a sentiment against Liverpool, okay? Even if you have a sentiment against Liverpool, and Liverpool are just saying, we don't have enough players, we'll chance our arm and we'll throw it out there and we'll see what happens. Fine. That's your sentiment. That's absolutely fine. But when the information comes, right, that you're arguing, and it comes out and goes, lads, you've no goalkeepers. You can't fulfill a game. It's in the rules. It should all stop. Red Steve says, sod your shows, Gav, Thursday quiz. Someone else asked about a quiz tonight. I was trying to do a quiz for last night, and then we ended up doing an absolutely brilliant transfer agenda show, I have to say. It was one of the most enjoyable I've done in a long time. I know Keith, Chris and Kev are meant to be on tonight, so I'll ask them, do they want to do a quiz? And if they say okay, I'll set up a quiz. How does that sound? We will be off tomorrow night because of no game. So let's do a quiz tonight if the three lads agree. If one of the three don't agree, we don't do it. I will name who didn't agree with it, and then we go from there. How does that sound? Let me see. James says, I've read Carries was starting before it was postponed. LOL. Dodged the bullet there. Every clout. Look, Carries must be down as well, you know. But then again, I'm not too sure if Carries is registered. So it's one of those. Georgie's in, the Leicester fan. Georgie, how are you, my man? First leg now be at Anfield, says Paul. Yeah, the first leg will go at Anfield and they'll go the week after at the Emirates. It's a week delay on the toy, basically. And who's to say when we get to next week, we'll have enough players? You know, it's just, I just think it's a bit mad. Let me know what you think. If you think, you know, like, should we be just arguing about this? Like, it's very simple what's gone on. It's a very simple equation as to what's gone on. And people will come to me and say, but hold on, you said that there should be no way that he can't fulfill this fixture. Yes, I did. I absolutely did. I absolutely did. But not one of them has come back up until now and said they've no goalkeepers. None of them. There hasn't been a single club that has come along and said, we have no registered goalkeepers available to play this game. None. Okay? The only team that have ended up with no goalkeepers available is us. Now, if you swing it the other way, right, and Arsenal were in that situation, you would guarantee Arsenal would want that game called off. And it's not even that they want to. It would be. They've no goalkeepers. It's called off. If Arsenal turned up and said, we have 15 players here, Granit Xhaka is decent in goal, we're going to fling him in, let's just play it. They wouldn't be allowed to play. You can't fulfill a game without a registered goalkeeper. You just can't. You know what I mean? LFC Arnhem with super chat, thanks a million. He says, these same fans asking for null and void 2 years ago. Well, I'm not really going into the null and void thing, because the null and void thing was madness. You know, it was never going to be null and voided. The same way this season won't be null and voided. There's just too much money involved, and there's too much riding on the results. You know, if you null and void that now, and say, for argument's sake, funny enough, West Ham, I think, are in 5th position at the moment. Okay, they won't want to null and void it, because there's a chance of them getting in the Champions League and making a serious amount of money. Okay, off the back of, you know, new part owners, I think, and investment into the club. Ironically, West Ham are one of the noisiest when it came to null and voiding the last time. Why? Because they were sitting, I think, 3rd or 4th from bottom. So there's too much riding on it. Every Premier League position is worth millions. You know, imagine finishing 5th and what you earn to 4th and what you're going to earn. It's not viable to null and void. The only reason null and void was there or came up was because people didn't want to see Liverpool win the title, and that's from fans, former players, journalists, media, everywhere. Right? They just couldn't stomach the fact Liverpool were going to win the title, and they went on and done it. Christopher Bourne says, I just got in, is the game off? Yeah, the game is off. Liverpool will play the home leg now, which will be the 4th leg at Anfield next week, the 13th, and we will return to the Emirates on the 20th for the second leg. Let me see. Arsenal fans are busy crying at the FA today for fining the club for failing to control their players. I see a team here. Can we get Karen Brady on the show? No, is the answer to that. Absolutely not. But overall, the correct decision is made. And you see, the main problem I had with all this was there was no transparency in it. There was no responsibility. There was no plan. Right? And people think, oh, you're saying that because it was United and Spurs. No. If I've said it before, if Liverpool showed up a month ago and said, oh, we've shut our training ground, we're not playing, you'd have to ask the questions, well, why? Are you giving me some information here? You know what I mean? But it wasn't. It happened to be Spurs and Manchester United, who just shut training grounds and went to the Premier League and said, we can't play. Okay? So, as it's gone on, I think it got worse from there, and then it's got slightly better, where we do know what's going on. We are, and not even that the Premier League are, and this is a sidetrack because this is the AFL we're talking about, but not even that the Premier League have stood up and made it more transparent. The clubs themselves have taken it upon themselves to a certain point to give you information. Liverpool being one of them, where they went, listen, A, B and C are out. It was Thiago, the There was 3, wasn't there? Thiago and 2 others. So that's straight at the start. And then you've seen the information come out. Now, Pep Guardiola has famously said, if I get COVID or my players, I'm not telling you. But he just won't play them, you know. But he'll turn up for the game, but he won't play it. He just won't give you any information a couple of days before the game. Liverpool had the game. Georgie says, we've no strikers available for Saturday. Does that mean we can get our game called off? I don't think so. But if you have 14 players, you have to play it. If you have a goalkeeper and 13, I think you have to play it. But this is the way it's gone. Like, when you look at Leeds, you know, like, Leeds were ravaged with it. Like, when Leeds and Liverpool gets called off on Boxing Day, I didn't hear a Liverpool fan give out about it. Like, they went, oh fuck, no Boxing Day football. They genuinely done that. But they didn't turn around and go, this is a fucking disgrace. What happened was, they looked and they went, well, have you seen Leeds team sheet for the last fucking 3 games? Have you seen who they're missing? Have you seen who they're having the 15 and 16-year-olds on the bench? And now they have more cases. It's not nice, but we can't fulfill it. And there we go. Shawnee says, great to see the regulars in the chat for the midday shows. Listen, Shawnee, you know yourself, me and you have to discuss this afternoon show that'll be done Monday to Friday. We'll do it. If it's popular, we'll continue it on. If it's something you don't like, we'll get rid of it. That's what we do with all our shows. We're here to enjoy ourselves with you. We're not here to, you know, push shite onto you every day of the week. But it is good content at the moment, in fairness. But we like coming in and having a chat, and we'll mix it up as the days go on. You know, when news is slow, we bring up a topic and we'll have a chat about it every day, just to keep things going. So Georgie, to answer your question, I think you'll need to lose a couple of goalkeepers. Now, looking at the FA Cup, I think we played this Shrewsbury on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. Now, if this has been reported since, say, Tuesday, I don't know what the rules are with regards to athletes and how many days they have, but I would say it's probably 5 to 7. So that will still leave a lot of players not available for Sunday, but would be back for next week at Anfield, you know, against Arsenal. And a part of me thinks that Arsenal are just upset at the fact that, we had them with no Mane, we had them with no Salah, we had them with no Keita, and they've a load of cases, we get through to the final here. That's the desperation from Arsenal to be relevant, you know, and fair play to them, you know, but I don't know what's going to come next week. But at the same time, you know, there'd be a big uproar with regards to Liverpool, but there's clubs out there that didn't play for 14 days and turned up and had their whole squad back, and it's all like, their whole squad is back. You know, we had clubs during it that were claiming they had X amount of players out and they were turning up with full teams. You know, so you have to kind of take it. You have to take it as it goes. But at the moment, Liverpool don't have any registered goalkeepers and can't play. Arsenal fans' reaction left a bad taste in the mouth, says Christopher Scott. You have to take it with a pinch of salt. I'm sure if I walked down to the pub now, sat down with an Arsenal fan and said to him, what do you think? He'd go, what can you do? You know, whereas when you come to social media, when you come to social media, it's a case of like who shouts loudest, you know. And if you shout the loudest, you get something out of it. For me, I don't really pay much attention to it. I just don't. It's just one of those things. You go with what's being said. Liverpool have been very open with regards to what's going on. They continue to be open. They announced stuff yesterday. They announced stuff yesterday evening, this morning, and finally this afternoon with regards to what will happen with the game tomorrow night. We have to continue on. But having said that, like, Liverpool would probably want to play that game. We have a game with Leeds already to change. We have this game to change now. We have a Champions League coming up at the end of the month. Champions League, you know, returns now next month. So Liverpool don't have many windows to move games. Liverpool don't want games called off, you know. And people will throw it back and say, Klopp moaned about congestion. No, what Klopp was moaning about was, on behalf of the whole league, he was saying, we can play the games, but with the situation that clubs are in at the moment, right, up and down the country, can we not move the 28th to the 29th, or move them just one day, just to give everybody a break if you're asking us to play all these games? Subsequently, games were cancelled, like Ayers against Leeds. He wasn't talking on regards to Liverpool. He was talking on regards of the whole league and moving everything for everyone to try keep the games and keep the show on the road, but give clubs a little bit of leeway with regards to how they can manage this situation. And that's all he was talking about. He wasn't crying about fixture congestion. He wasn't. He was talking about helping everybody out. Keith says, embarrassing carry on from every other fan base out there. Faux outrage because it's Liverpool. Listen, Spurs had a whole month's rest, and then you have pundits asking why they look more fresh than Liverpool in that draw. Well, look, you can only take on the information you get, and I can only go on what information I got from Liverpool. I will say I wanted the game to go ahead, but my argument's out the window when you've no goalkeepers. It's that simple. That's about it. 25 minutes. There was nothing else to talk about today. Go and leave comments underneath this video if you want to continue the chat on. We will try organise a quiz for later on, and we might have a little chat about this again with the lads to see how they feel. Thanks for joining me. That has been the Cup update for Wednesday the 5th of January. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share if you can. And if you're on audio download, please hit the review button and give us a 5-star review. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.